Welcome, everyone. My name is Jamie Arut, along with, I see Jeff behind you,
Yeah,
along with Ed
it's
Got a
and
special guest.
David. That was going to be his grand entrance. He was going to walk
There you
over to the
go.
camera and be like,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
I'm here. Welcome, everyone. We are live on X and our YouTube channel and over on Rumble, which I have done absolutely nothing with on Rumble, so I don't know if we have anyone actually there, but at least the video will be posted as I continue to build that out. But we're building things up on X, as you know, and obviously our YouTube has been going strong for quite a while. So hopefully you guys are watching us on those channels. If you're just joining us live, feel free to say hello, drop in the comments, hello, maybe where you're listening from. We'd love to hear from you. Most of you know I'm up in the Northwoods of Maine on Moosehead Lake. So it's been rather cold up here. We haven't had a lot of snow. We had a good base, like 8 inches on average, and every day there's a little bit of new snow that falls. But we really needed a good pounding of snow so we can get these sledding snowmobile trails open. And finally, tomorrow we're supposed to get 8 to 12 inches, and then again on Sunday another 8 to 12 inches. So we're pretty excited. The good news is that the lake's been frozen for weeks, so people have been out snowmobiling across the lake and ice fishing and all that good stuff.
How long does that take up there for that lake to freeze where you can go on?
That's a really good question because I've been keeping track since we moved up here of what date it freezes. And really, you just need sub-zero, sub-15 is even better for a good 2 weeks or over for it to start to really freeze. But because there's live springs in the lake and there's moving water coming down the river, everything's very unpredictable. Like you could have minus 15 degrees and everything freezes up to like Rockwood. And then north of that, it doesn't freeze for like another week or two. So
Wow.
it's really something that you kind of go out, someone goes out, they drill a hole, they measure how much it is, go another, few yards, measure another hole, and just kind of little by little figure out where it's safe to go out.
It's a freaking huge lake. I mean, the size of
Yeah,
Rhode Island, for God's sake.
Oh, it's huge.
Massive.
So,
Speaking of the lake, is that where they had that incident just a week ago with the kids that got fell through the ice?
oh no, it wasn't here, but we did have a couple
What's the update on
snowmobilers.
that?
I don't know on the kids because that wasn't here. But I know I sent you pictures. We pulled a couple guys out a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago that fell in and went to by the mouth of the river. There's open water. You can't go there. If you go there, it doesn't matter if it's been sub-zero for a month. There's still running water there. It's too thin. It's not going to work. So they went there. So they fell through. And it happens
terrible.
just about every year. Luckily, they survived. Life Flight had to come in for one of them.
Wonderful. Good.
But
Good news.
yeah, pretty scary stuff.
Yeah.
What do you guys got going on down there?
Oh, well, we're in the beautiful state of Connecticut, Ed and I.
Oh,
Not for long, Ed.
I use
We'll
that
see.
loosely.
We'll see.
I know.
We'll see.
But it's been cold, snowing, icing, snowing today. Wasn't much, but
Connecticut is a cycle of slush,
yeah.
light snow,
mess.
mud.
Yeah.
And we got
It's
snow coming Saturday.
Oh, more snow?
Yeah,
Yeah.
about 5 inches. This is
So-
5 to 10. But everything they predicted over the past week and a half has been completely wrong. So
Yeah.
they say it's
Bread and
coming.
eggs. Bread and eggs. They got to sell them out. Bread, eggs,
Yeah,
and milk.
exactly. Everyone
Well,
rushes
with the
to
cost of eggs right now.
Yeah, because you're broke.
Yeah, it might not. Yeah.
It's funny with the eggs too. I love how everybody's complaining about the prices. I'm thinking to myself, the last administration killed all the damn chickens.
Oh, I know.
It's like
On their way out, let's take care of.
egg prices are way high. Oh yeah, well no
And
shit.
what do you think it's going to happen? Exactly.
Yeah. So I want to jump on today, and we want to talk a little bit about what exactly T4 Survival is, what's our mission statement, what is our goal, what do we do. Talk a little bit about backgrounds on the three of us, especially for our new X followers and people that are finding us on the X platform, which we've been really pushing a lot because of not being censored as much as we have been in other platforms. So we've really been pushing the X platform. And thank you to all of our new followers there. We're going to talk a little bit about camp, and a big thing that we need to talk about is Hamas and the latest news on that. So let's talk a little bit about T4 Survival. So T4 Survival is short for Training for Survival. Training for Survival was created for training people to survive violent attacks. So training for surviving the fight of your life. And that could be a home invasion, active shooter, a robbery, armed robbery, carjacking, and just giving people the skills to be able to deal with those type of violent attacks. When we had the training center in Connecticut, people would seek me out that were involved with like carjackings, right? Jim came to us because he was carjacked in Hartford, and he came to me and says, I want to know what to do if the situation happens again. I'm concerned about, what the tactics should be and how to handle that situation. So T4 survival basically gives you the knowledge to be able to deal with a threat and how to deal with it. Now, obviously, you want to try to de-escalate. So we teach people how to punch someone properly in the face, how to defend against a choke, how to disarm a gun, a knife, a stick, a bat, and so forth. But the goal is not to have to get physical. And I always go back to like law enforcement. Right? When I was in Connecticut, more than 50% of our student base was law enforcement. And the biggest thing that for law enforcement, and Ed, you could speak on behalf of this, and please do, is that when you walk into a domestic, if you can de-escalate things and walk away without getting physical, that was real self-defense. That was the best night that you had. Agreed?
Yeah, your mouth gets you in trouble or out of trouble real quick when you go to a call.
So being able to de-escalate things and verbalize to be able to walk away from a situation is something that we also do teach. We role play that. And sometimes you have to swallow a little bit, right? And as much you want to ego up and try to get in someone's face, as you get older and you have family and kids and you're out places, you start to realize that it's not worth it. And
game changes.
Yeah, when I was 20, I'd fight in a heartbeat and enjoy it. But once you get married, yeah, it's fun, right? I kind of miss those days. But I got married, I have kids, and it's like it's just not worth the fight anymore. So try to de-escalate and try to walk away. However, if it's not going to de-escalate, some people are just hell-bent on being violent and want to fight. And if they decide that they're going to take it down that road, I'm ready and prepared and will do what I need to do to protect myself and my family, just as you guys would as well. So T4 survival is basically encompassing self-defense tactics, and it's molded in over the past 4 or 5 years as well into survival tactics, as into preparedness, and talking about EMPs and talking about food preparation and emergency communications. And so you're not only learning how to defend yourself, how to harden your home to make it harder for people to get in if there was like an event like a grid down, but also how about emergency communications, communicating with other family members? How about emergency medical? How do you apply a tourniquet? How do you stop a bleed in a wound if there's a hole? How about if you have a chest wound, right? You need to do a chest seal. So those are all things we cover as well in a variety of trainings, whether people hire us and come up to us to train at camp, or hire us where they come up and do 4 or 5 days with us privately with a small group from a church or corporation or company. Or we'll travel to facilities as well. After the pandemic, we haven't traveled as much, but we're starting to get calls of people asking us to travel out to their location. And if you have a group that would like to have us come out and do a customized training for you, we can obviously do that. And then we also specialize in the firearms aspect, right? So handgun training, rifle training, both working with an AR style platform, but also long-range precision rifles as well. Which the past couple of camps we worked the precision, and this next camp we're doing precision rifle. So my name is Jamie. I'm the owner of T4 Survival. We started T4 Survival when I was also running Alpha Krav Maga. Alpha Krav Maga is a legit Krav Maga association out of Israel, headed by Sam Sadeh. He was the Israeli that was brought over here to the United States to train the Americans in Krav Maga. That is my instructor. That's the person that I have lineage and training underneath. He is one of the most badass guys I've ever met, and honored to be training under him and a close friend with Sam. Alpha Krav Maga has affiliate schools around the country. I was one of 4 guys that trained, tested, and certified the Krav Maga instructors in the United States. Bringing that knowledge both to training law enforcement, training military, but also training civilians. And everyone has a different aspect. In the military aspect, if they ran into a threat, it was probably on the battlefield, and it was going to be a lethal threat. So it was about eliminating that threat with the lethality that they needed to. And the law enforcement aspect, it's completely different. It's about preserving the law enforcement officer, but also preserving the suspect and getting that suspect under control as safely as possible, with the least injury as possible to the suspect and to the officer, and getting them cuffed in the back of a cruiser on their merry way. So that changes the game a lot when it comes to law enforcement, because they hear Krav Maga and they're like, oh, you're going to punch the guy in the throat. No, it's about proper tactics of getting control of the person. But it also goes into officer preservation. If that person grabs the officer's firearm, what are the skills the officer needs to do to be able to retain control of that firearm and then neutralize that threat and make sure he goes home safe to his family. So even though we were teaching law enforcement and there were use of force that we used, and we followed Chicago's line of use of force, which is the strictest in the country. We followed their use of force as we did training. And then obviously if it was between the officer and the bad guy, and it was getting into a point that they were about to be executed, also dealing with those types of threats. And then the civilian is completely another turn, dealing with home invasions. As you know, in Cheshire, Connecticut was one of the most horrific home invasions that's ever happened. It was covered internationally, the Pettit home invasion. So I created a customized curriculum to cover home invasions and had families and wives and husbands and kids taking that type of training from me. Active shooter, we did active shooter both for municipalities, private institutions and private schools and public schools. How to harden the facility, make it harder for someone to enter, how to train the staff on what to do during a lockdown, how to contact law enforcement, running drills with law enforcement is all stuff we've done as part of T4 Survival. So that's T4 Survival in a nutshell. Probably longer than a nutshell. I kind of talked a little bit here, but I'm really proud of what we've accomplished and where we've come from with T4 Survival and the growth. And having an amazing team is what makes this possible. Mike, who couldn't join us tonight, amazing instructor, been by my side for years. Scott, who couldn't be with us tonight as well. He's with the municipality also in Connecticut, and he's been with me, since 2010, 2011. Mike's 2014-ish. He's been with me since. So amazing crew. And then we have Ed and we have David. David's been with me for a number of years. Gosh, we're going probably 7-8 years now, David, you and I have been working together.
Flies.
Yeah, it really does. We're getting old. Look at my grays. When I first met David, I didn't have this, but now look.
Yeah. I think it's the relationship.
I had a full head of hair. I've only known him for a few years.
This is true.
Yeah. And then Ed and David, if you just give a 30-second to a minute commercial on yourself and talk a little bit about your background, that would be great. Let's go to Ed since he's next on the screen, and then we'll go over to David. So Ed, tell us a little bit about your background and what you do with T4 Survival.
Well, I got out of the Air Force, went in the police department, 1989, retired in 2014 as a police commander, captain out of Southington. More importantly, I've been shooting my whole life. And of course you hear that a lot, but I used to compete. I went to the FBI sniper school in 94. I think it was March of 94. And then my journey took off from there, competed in a lot of sniper events. So people always ask me all the time, what'd you do? Well, 99, I was New England Top Gun. 98 was national champion, super sniper shootout. Then I went over to Europe. Mike was my partner when I started going over to Europe, competing internationally. We placed 4th in the world. I used to do a lot of freelance articles. Matter of fact, we used to shoot with a lot of Israeli guys, and they're always older. The Israeli guys are. They're always retired, usually retired from the M agency over there, and got to know those guys real well. And I'm not saying they all are, but they're good people. Yeah. And I had a wind reading thing I developed for calling the wind, and they ended up adopting it. They made fun of me because I use miles per hour for wind, and I should just convert completely over to KPH. So bottom line is when we come up, it's been a privilege to be part of the T4 team going up to camp. It's a lot of fun. The students that come up, they have a great time, I like to think. I think they walk away from the precision thing realizing, like, I show them little things that they never knew.
Yeah.
So that's the whole trick about it. And you know what you learn as an instructor too.
Right.
And so no, that's it. I hope I gave enough.
No, that's good. So Ed and Mike kind of lead on the precision rifle and the AR platform stuff. Obviously they jump over to the handgun and as well. But when we do our camps, which we'll be talking about in a few minutes, there's actually 2 ranges that are running simultaneously. When we're running camp, we have a rifle range and we have a pistol range, and people that attend camp have the option of going between the two. And we'll get into that in a second. So David, got to give a plug for your main business, which is Kydex Holster Solutions, most amazing holsters in the world. And I'm not just saying that. Because when I was doing training and doing weapon retention training, I would break shit constantly. I would break training weapons constantly. I would rip through holsters constantly. And David is the first holster company that was able to make me holsters that were solid enough to take the beating that we put them through, and pretty amazing stuff. And he's come a long way. So David, tell us a little bit about Kydex and camp.
Thanks, man. Yeah, absolutely. So, a little bit my background. I'm just a regular civilian. I don't have any military or law enforcement background, but thank you all for your service. We do support law enforcement and military. Back in, I've been shooting my whole life. My father got me started in shooting and kind of progressed over time. And back in 2017, I thought of a great idea. Hey, I'm going to start making holsters. So I started a whole holster manufacturing company in 2017. We're here 2025 and extremely running very strong, growing rapidly. We've tripled our staffing. We've moved to a new facility, which you can see a portion of it in the back of here. We just build real high quality products that we do something that's kind of unique. We really don't turn any business down. We have a capability of building really custom stuff. So we're here to build solutions for people. That's why we have that solutions at the end. We do find that a lot of people come to us for specific builds, for unique lights, lasers. We're constantly evolving. So here we are. And I kind of hooked up with Jamie, like you said, about 7 years ago. Yeah, back in Cheshire, just kind of putzing around, stopped by his shop. We talked a little bit, built a relationship, and evolved into instructing with him up in at camp in Maine, which is kind of, hooked on that. It's a great platform for us to go up, work with the students, kind of as Ed mentioned, we learn from the students just like they learn from us. But it's a great environment where it takes you from that, shooting at a paper target where you're at and getting out there and actually executing, and you're using the fundamentals, but also learning some high skilled techniques that you can implement in your everyday life. And it's really a platform for anybody, whether you're a beginner or an expert. I'd say check it out, give us a call, and come and join us.
Yeah. When we started evolving, I had this brainstorm of this camp, by the way, 4 years before I did it, like 2012, 2013, I started coming up with this idea. And the goal was that I was running into a lot of people that were coming out and doing the NRA pistol class, and I didn't feel it was enough, right? You come out, you spend 4 hours, you do a couple of live rounds, and I'm giving them this piece of paper to go purchase a firearm. And I knew more than half of them weren't going to come see me again or come to one of our trainings. And I wanted them to, right? I was trying to incentivize them to be able to do so. So I wanted camp to say, okay, let's create an event where people, when we couldn't do it in Connecticut, because a lot of stuff we do, the moving and the shooting and the higher caliber, like we had a private range in Connecticut. And even though we had a private range, if we were shooting like 308 or something like that, the state police would show up because neighbors would complain about, what was being fired and what we were doing. So it was just a big hassle. So fast forward, we were able to get a secure location, our own private range up here in Maine, and it allows us to be able to work on that moving and shooting and getting off the X rather than standing in an alley in a range and just shooting at a paper target. And there's things you can't do in range, especially in Connecticut. You can't draw from your holster. No mag exchanges. If you do, you got to unload, put the mag down, put the weapon down, reload. But you can't do emergency mag exchange, tactical mag exchanges, things that we work in camp. So I wanted to design an event that people could come and attend that would immerse them into training. Now, when I say immersive, people are like tactical forward rolls with long guns. No.
Well, I mean, forward rolls happen sometimes. But
they do, yes. But
they're all 18.
Yeah. All staged.
So the median age for someone that comes up to camp or even has trained with me back in my facility in Cheshire was a 45 to 65-year-old. Right? So it's a person that has a family, has a career, and has kind of been through it a little bit, and they're looking to hone in on their skills to be able to defend themselves and their family. So that's the median age of attendees in camp. Now we have as old as 73, and we have as young as 16 and 15. People bring their kids, they bring their wives, they bring their siblings, and it's a great event. But I wanted to create something that people would be able to come, get away from their location at home so that they're unplugged a little bit, They don't have to worry about work and family, and they can just kind of seclude themselves and immerse themselves into training and have time to spend with us. Full days of training on the range, night times having dinner together, and then sitting by the campfire. And we light up some cigars. The ladies sometimes don't want to smoke cigars. That's fine too, and just kind of relax and talk and get to know each other a little bit. And really, a lot of the best conversations and things you find out about people happen around the campfire, right?
Yeah.
Is that casual time. And it also allows them to have that little bit of downtime to kind of talk to us a little bit and get to know us a little bit more. A good portion of our camp attendees are repeat attendees, and they travel from all over the country. We have Hawaii, California, Ohio, Louisiana, Texas, Florida. They come from all over the place, Connecticut, Massachusetts. To be able to come and have the opportunity to train with us for those series of days. The goal was to get new shooters to come and be able to immerse themselves. But obviously, as the camp's been running since 2018, it's grown into repeat clients as well. We have at least 5-6 instructors on the range at a time. So what that means is that we could have 2 instructors work with this group of 3 or 4 that might be new shooters. We can have these instructors over here work with the people that have been with us for a little bit longer and more advanced. So they're working at their skill level. Then on the rifle range, we're working Rifle 101. Well, we got Ed and Mike and sometimes someone else that's over there kind of working with them, making sure that they're at their skill level and progressing the way that they need to. And that's part of one, by the way, being a good instructor. Teaching instructors and training the trainers for a number of years, it takes you to a different level of just being an instructor. Taking the 30,000 foot view of being able to oversee what needs to be done and noticing your line and what needs to have attention and needs to be addressed is very important. A lot of instructors just focus on one little thing or 2 little things. I kind of take that broader view, and the instructors that we have are just amazing at being able to make sure that this person is getting the help they need, but yet this group over here is constantly and still working on their skill set and advancing. So it allows us to be a little bit more customized as we're doing our training. Also keep in mind that camp size is averaging, and we like these numbers, around 15. Our max camp size would be closer to 20, and it's really based on skill level. If we see over a lot of new people and we have some return people, we might knock that number down a little bit. If we realize there's more advanced and very little new people, we might let that number go a little bit higher. But if you think of the student to instructor ratio, you're talking 1 instructor per 2, 3, maybe 4 students. And averaging even lower on the 12 to 15 for camp attendees, it gets even tighter student ratio. Now, the camp's not cheap. You've got to travel out to us. You're going to fly into Southern Maine, rent a vehicle, or fly into Bangor, Northern Maine, rent a vehicle, drive 2 hours to us to be able to get to where we are. But once you get here, you realize the reason why it's secluded and the reason why you did it.
Yeah.
There's no road noise. You're not going to hear a siren probably for the whole time that you're here. You're completely secluded on this beautiful lakefront property, which is called the Birches, which has been our exclusive, property where we hold the camp every year. And we have a private chef that's catering to us and cooking meals. Last camp, we actually did some meals in one of the houses that we were staying in and gave the chef the night out. That was kind of cool. We did a lobster bake. We have a lobsterman that lives here in town, brought some lobsters back for us. We did a lobster bake with steamers. So we just some pretty cool, unique things to the area. But it's an investment that you're going to travel out here or drive up to us if you're in the New England area or maybe as far south as maybe New Jersey. And then you're going to pay and invest into the training itself and training for the accommodations and food and all that. But you leave here a different person. You leave here a skilled person that is knowledgeable in handling your firearm. And I love when we have a new shooter that comes in and says, hey, I've had the firearm in the house for years and I just don't feel comfortable carrying it. Or they just purchased their firearm. And by the second day of camp, it's on their hip and they're wearing it everywhere. They're wearing it back to the resort. They're wearing it to dinner. They're wearing it to lunch. They're wearing it back to their cabin. They're putting it out in the morning, coming to breakfast with it. That's what we want. The goal is that you can carry that firearm and feel comfortable with it on your hip, like it's your wallet, it's your cell phone. You can manipulate it, grab it, reholster it, and feel that confidence. By the time you leave camp, and you guys can attest, especially Ed, that you fire more than most police officers do through a police academy.
Oh my God, yes.
For a handgun portion, you're at about 1,000 rounds, 800 to 1,000 rounds.
Easy.
That you're putting down range. So you're getting a lot of trigger time, and trigger time turns into time on the range and that repetition of being able to do it over and over and over again and get that skill level. So your confidence is just through the roof. And then people calling me or texting me and emailing, weeks, months after saying, I'm still carrying. This is amazing. I feel so comfortable. Thank you so much. Or I had an incident that happened where I thought something was going to go sideways and I'm glad I had my weapon on me. It made me realize the importance. And that's the most rewarding part. So the key to this, guys, is that, invest into yourself, contact us and come to camp. You won't be disappointed. Watch the testimonials on our YouTube channel or on our website, t4survival.com/camp, and hear it firsthand exactly the experiences that people have had. It's worth the investment. Bring your family out, train with us, and it's a life-changing event.
Yeah.
Ed,
sure.
David, you want to add anything in?
No, I absolutely 100% agree. It's going to change your mindset. It's going to change everything that you do. It's going to change how you approach walking into a store, sitting down at a restaurant. It's going to change your approach driving your vehicle. There's so many techniques that we're going to train and show you, and everything you learn, you can take away and use in everyday life, which is,
we had an attendee
amazing.
drive up for one of the first camps, and I remember him saying to me, where the hell was I driving to? I drove for hours and just drove and drove. I thought I was going to be at the end of the earth. Oh my God, this was insane to drive
feels
up
like
here.
it.
It does.
Man,
and then
the
at the end of that first day, he walked up to me, pulled me aside, and he goes, Jamie, I get it.
Yeah.
I now get it.
Yeah.
I understand. The seclusion, the lakefront, waterfront cabin you're staying at, the quietness, listening to the loons. We'll talk about the loons another time, but listening to the loons and to the wildlife and lighting the campfire and then getting the time on the range. It's an experience that you have here. And that's why we have so many repeat customers and clients that come to us a couple times a year to train at camp. I can't express to you enough the importance of getting out here and actually doing it.
The campfire, we talk about the private language of the loons.
Yeah.
All that stuff. One of the things about that's really special is your mind is completely on the training.
And that's key.
And that's key. I mean, that alone, not only are you in a gorgeous area, I mean, it is absolutely gorgeous up there. And the range is kind of like a non-airfield, old airfield kind of thing, right? I mean, it's like with the side trails. I mean, it's when you guys were running last October was like phenomenal. I mean, just phenomenal. You were running those paths. It was great.
And the moving and the shooting and getting multiple targets and work together as a team and verbalization. And then, every camp we mix in some emergency medical. So last class we had teaching people how to suture, and we had two magnificent, top-notch doctors that were there that were teaching proper suturing and had everyone have kits. And then we worked emergency communications, and we talked about comms, and we talked about Meshtastic and showed some examples of stuff. So every camp we kind of build upon that a little bit more. And so we're really excited about this group that's coming up. We're way more than halfway. I think we're about 70% filled right now for the next camp. So if you're interested in attending camp, please contact us. If you're on our social media platforms, please say hello to us. Drop us a thing in the comment. Jeff, thanks for joining us. It looks like he's on YouTube, but whether you're on YouTube, X, Rumble, or wherever you put the comment, it should come across our screen here. We'd love to see it. We're going to be signing off in just a few minutes. And before I do, because I had some texts come through, I know, Ed, you've had texts, David and Mike and I have been talking with Ed. Hamas's response to Donald Trump saying you have until Saturday at noon to release the hostages or all hell's going to break loose. And their response was basically, nah, we're not going to be releasing the hostages by Saturday at noon.
Yeah.
Thoughts and comments?
This ain't Joe Biden.
No. And with Hegseth and with the people that we have in the agencies, this is not a game that I think they want to play. My concern is the hostages, but I know that is also a concern for Hegseth and for Trump to try to get them out of there still and do what they need to do. So what do you think is going to happen between now and Saturday?
Well, they're going to get some hostages. They may not get all of them, but they're going to get some.
I have to agree with you. I totally agree with you.
Slow process, but.
So here's why I want to bring up Hamas, not only to talk about what we think is going to happen between now and Saturday, and we know something's going to happen. You don't step up to the plate like that and stick your chest out and lift up your chin and not think you're not going to get smacked. So we know that's going to come. Here's my concern. is that we know we've talked about on our live streams for the past, year, 2 years, even prior. There's sleeper cells here. There's Hamas sympathizers. And there's sleeper cells that are here in the United States. And as stuff starts to come out and starts to happen, things are probably going to happen on our homeland. We already know they've been planning for it, and they're just waiting for the high sign to do something. A lot of them are being trained in these camps by Al Qaeda and ISIS, that they don't know what their outcome is going to be. They're not told what they're going to do, so that if they do get caught here in the United States, they have no information. They're just told to go to the U.S. and wait for us to tell you.
They compartmentalize them in a way where the other hand, it's like a body all divided up.
Yep,
Like
exactly.
Straight ahead. You don't know what the hell pieces connected to what, and we're woefully unprepared.
Yeah.
I mean, woefully.
Our infrastructure, our
everything. It's bad. I mean, it's not a slight. I mean, I bleed blue. I mean, I loved it when I was on the job, but I think back then, I mean, we wouldn't have been ready for it. I mean, it's even carrying a rifle in a cruiser for right up until the time I retired. I mean, it was like an act of Congress to get one with you, until something happened. Then everybody's running to the closets. I mean,
yeah. Yeah. Oh, Carlene's on. Hi, Carlene. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
That's
and
nice.
Dropping a comment. What was her last comment? Can you read it there? I can zoom in on this just a little bit.
I think she's saying BB's children. I think she's referring to Netanyahu, I think. But
yeah. No, absolutely. So our concern is that things are probably going to happen on the homeland. So to all of our listeners, all of our followers and clients, please keep your head on a swivel. Be vigilant. Be careful of large groups and traveling. And if you have to travel, because some of you obviously do, just be aware of where you're traveling to. Have plans of secondary ways to get away from wherever you need to go. So if you're traveling into a hotel in a metropolitan area, look at Google Maps, Google Earth, and plan. If something was to happen and I don't have access to my vehicle, how am I going to get out of there? What's going to be my travel path? I do have access to my vehicle. This would be my primary path to get out of there. But if I can't go this way, what's a secondary route? It may not be major highways. You may have to take side roads, and map that all out and have it pre-planned. Have emergency communications plans with your family. So if you're traveled hundreds of miles away or flew someplace and there's loss of communications with your family members and they're home, what's their responsibilities? What are they supposed to do? Hold down their home, stay there. Don't try to come out and look for you. And what are your plans, or what are you going to do? Kind of have that conversation ahead of time, so they're not freaking out, wondering what happened to mom, dad, brother, sister, husband, wife. You kind of have that conversation ahead of time, that there's a loss of communications. Don't worry, I'm going to do this. I have a plan. Here's my plan. Here's B plan. Here's C plan. Here's D plan, and kind of have that planned out. So that, hopefully it's not a matter of if it happens, ladies and gentlemen, it's a matter of when it happens. Something is going to happen on the homeland. We know they're planning an October 7th style attack here in the United States, and they've been planning it for a while. A lot of intelligence agencies have actually said that October 7th was a test for what they are going to do here in the United States. So,
Sarah Adams is the one.
She's outstanding.
You're gonna link up with somebody on X. Follow
Sarah
her.
Adams. Yep.
That girl she's
on her
away.
stuff. Absolutely.
She's squared away. I mean, knows what the hell's going on, and just keep in mind, it's cool to have a plan. Don't assume that your spouse just has it together, or your partner, or whatever. It's like going to a theater. It's cool to look to see where the exits are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always, that's stupid. No, know how to get out of a building if you have to get out of a building. I mean, I remember when my kids were younger, of course, they all thought I was a psycho as a parent, but I told my daughters, I said, if something happens in a school, because even back then when they were younger, much younger, I told them, I says, crawl out a window, run a zigzag pattern all the way over to this house and just find a place in the backyard and sit. And they're like, why zigzag? I said, it's harder to hit a zigzag target.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to, I hate to say it, in a target-rich environment, don't become a target.
No,
and
you're absolutely right.
It's awful. It sounds really, really, really Neanderthal-y to say stuff like that, but don't assume that, a lot of people rabbit when stuff happens, like that. We were talking before the cameras went live, I think, when the people were going around shooting people. And this one person, he aimed the gun at her, and she's
Yeah.
there like this, and he pulled it and it went click. Well, that's called rabbiting.
Mm.
It's just if you're sitting there like this and you're frozen, well, what do rabbits do? Same damn thing. I hate to say it, but
Yeah, we were talking about long gun disarms, and we were talking about pistol defenses. And I sometimes get on social media, why would you even teach that type of stuff? I carry a firearm. Well, the reality is that there might be an opportunity you don't have access to your firearm. If someone gets onto an elevator, puts a gun to your head, just executed the person standing next to you, do you want the knowledge to be able to defend against that gun attack and hopefully save your life and the other people that are there's life and gain control of that weapon? That's why we teach handgun defense. Rifle defense, active shooter comes into a school or comes into a church and they breach that front foyer and you're standing against a wall and they don't see you yet. Do you want the opportunity to be able to gain control of that firearm and, neutralize the threat? That's why we teach the weapon disarms, and it goes from, handgun, rifle, knife, bat, stick, pipe, on and on and on. But that's why we post and you see the videos, and I'll never teach the technique of how to do it online. But that's why we teach weapon defenses. You need to have that knowledge, and it's very important. Don't fall into this falsehood that just because you carry a firearm, everything's going to be fine. And that's another point to camp is a little bit of stress inoculation. Being able to put you through a little bit of stress to see how you're pulling your weapon from your holster, how you getting on target, how you moving. You didn't see a threat to your left or to your right, and being able to engage that threat. This is the stuff that's reality.
Yeah. Holster work matters.
Yeah.
It matters, and it's what was it? The one guy Shrek there from SOB there, the sheriff of Baghdad, says all the time. Most people, if they're going to AD into themselves, is when they're putting the gun back in their holster.
Yep.
And it's, holster work matters. That's one of the advantages. While they do that's where the camp has it all over law enforcement. Law enforcement, you go to the range, you do your thing, pull out a holster, bang, bang, back in the holster again. You go to these private ranges, you ain't doing any holster work. And when you do, when there's one I know of that I can go to and they'll let me do it, it's always like, oh, I saw you the other day doing the holster stuff. I'm thinking, my God, it's like not a private freaking moment. It's like,
right.
Because holster work matters. It matters. Get it in. Come to camp where you can concentrate on it. You're going to learn a lot about your gear too.
Yeah. Absolutely. And for day one, what do? Draw your weapon from your holster, put it back in without looking down at your holster and fumbling around. Right. No. And look at the Secret Service video, right? Remember when Trump was in Butler, Pennsylvania? Secret Service agent backing up to the vehicle couldn't even get to the holster. Yeah. Our camp attendees blow that away.
Here's our students do. There's no doubt about it though. There's nothing magic because you have a federal 10, a state 10, or for that matter, a local 10. There's nothing magical about it. You either know how. You know how many people I watched on the line with those security holsters jumping up and down, trying to get their holster, the release the handgun. These are full-time law enforcement officers. It's you see these things and you just say to yourself, good God, if you had to get that thing out.
Yeah, you're doomed.
Yeah. You're doomed. I don't know if you guys remember the ones where you break it with your thumb and your finger slide it back and out.
And then you have this one here. Remember this one that they went to?
Oh yeah. I carried that for ages.
And how many people had negligent discharges as they were pulling out because they were stressed? They push down on here, and then where's their finger immediately go?
Yeah, right.
I got a lot of hours. I got a lot of hours with that, with that holster.
Yeah,
and you better have them.
Yep.
Absolutely. Because it's set up really nice. Your finger's right there, but if you're trained to keep your finger off, it's actually a great holster. It's very.
You got to train with it and train with it. It's like anything.
With it. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And nobody does. Well, I shouldn't say nobody. I know our students do when they show up at these things.
Right.
It's everything's training. Look at when we did even precision rifle at the camp.
Yeah.
We're seeing equipment that, this kind of sucks.
Oh yeah, and you got the guys who buy this high-end equipment, thousands and thousands of dollars on rifles and scopes, and all of a sudden they're like, barrel correction, right?
Yeah.
What? Yeah. What are you talking about? I spent this on. What are you talking about?
Well, that I'll still say that was one of the bigger. We say instructors learn too. Now I knew about barrel, correction on a right-hand twist gun. I knew you were going to have to start adjusting left. The problem was I'm used to shooting from a 26-inch 308 barrel, heavy barrel Schneider barrel out, and mine doesn't start till after 300 meters. I'm not even thinking about barrel correction. they were correcting like way early. I was like, holy crap, I've never seen that before.
What was the length of their barrel? Was it 22?
They were short. They were, yeah.
Some were 18.
Yeah, they were short. I mean, and these are nice rigs. I mean, they were nice rigs, but you know, you think you have something until you don't.
Yeah.
You know, and the only way you're going to learn that is till you go to the range, because some of the guys, I mean, they have what they have. I mean, they're great. I mean, they all had really great pieces, but you know, you learn when it's the shorter barrel length on a rifle. It's just not
changes the game.
Right.
26 inches is kind of the number if you're going to shoot precision. That's the shortest I would go.
In our precision, we talk 300 yards out to 1,000 yards. So if you're interested in that type of precision shooting and really challenging yourself, you should attend the next camp and head over.
You
to
haven't
our
gotten
website.
1,000 yet, though, have you?
We're working on that. Yeah,
Oh,
we're working
dude,
on that.
if you produce 1,000, you have to let me know, because I'm going to bring up 175s with me, some 175 grainers. I haven't shot 1,000 in a long time.
We got to see the thaw. It's all going to be based on the thaw. We'll have it for October. The question is if we can pull it off for May, but we're still going to have very close to that for May. But we're going to be signing off in a second. But guys, if you're joining us right now, you're on X or YouTube, say hello to us. If you have any questions for us, feel free to drop them in the comments as well. We're going to ask you guys to head over to our website, t4survival.com/camp. Check out the information on camp. If you're looking for a holster or customized rig or any firearm accessories, head over to kydexholstersolutions.com and talk with David, place an order with him. Amazing products and holsters. It's all I carry. It's all my family carries. It's all my instructors carry. And not just because we're biased, but because it's the damn best stuff that I've ever put my hands on. And I'll stand behind it. And I know David stands behind his stuff as well.
Absolutely. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
So check them out, kydexholstersolutions.com. And check out our website. If you're on X or you're on YouTube, please like our pages. Hit that like button so it helps us with the algorithm. Follow us, subscribe to our channels. If you're on YouTube, head over to X and follow us there. If you're on X, head over to YouTube and follow us on our YouTube. Just search at T4 Survival as our handle. Anything you guys want to add in before we sign off?
American Calamity.
Yes.
You got to buy
I'm
American
usually on
Calamity.
cue. Hold on. Let me grab it. Let's see. Hold on. You don't have one, Ed?
No, actually, no, I don't have one. Well, the good news is I'm selling them. There it is. That's the Continental.
Oh, this is book 2.
Yeah.
Oh.
We got the
Yeah.
nice cars
there's a
going
car.
out.
There we go.
Goes out with every
Every holster order is a discount code.
Yep. So head over to my website or to YouTube. I'll drop it in the link here after this live as well to order Ed's book, American Calamity. It's a 2-part series right now. Going to be a 3-part soon.
Haven't started 3 yet. I haven't started. I've been so damn busy, but I'm going to start.
It's coming. So make sure to check out Ed's book, American Calamity. You can get it on Amazon by just searching this as well. If you are looking for anything we discussed about emergency communications on our from our live streams, head over to our website, t4survival.com/links. And there you'll hear and see everything that we've talked about during our live streams, emergency communications, emergency medical stuff, gun supplies, Ed's book as well. But I'll drop it here in the description after we get offline later on tonight, so you guys can order it right from there. So, guys, without anything else you guys want to add, we'll sign off. You guys good?
That's good.
Right, we'll be back online soon. Keep an eye on our social media channels. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave any questions you have for us in the comments. You can always reach out to us through our website, t4survival.com. Don't forget, kydexholstersolutions.com. We are signing off, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. Be safe. Remember what we told you. Be vigilant. Be vigilant right now, guys. With this whole Hamas thing, the next, I think, couple of weeks are going to be real crazy. And just be aware, know your surroundings, have a game plan, and hopefully we all come out of this and the hostages come out of this nice and clean over the next few days. So say a prayer, guys. God bless. We'll talk to you guys.